Hello, welcome back to another video. We're back out in the Lake District for another wild camp. It is an absolute stunner of a day. Blue skies, sun is shining. It was the spring equinox a few days ago and we've had nothing but sunshine since. So yeah, spring has well and truly arrived here in the Lake District. As a few of you might be able to recognise, I have started today down at Honister slate mine. I've parked the car there. It's a little bit spenny, but you can get a ticket that allows you to park overnight and it runs all the way through to the next day. So you know your car's going to be fairly safe there. And we are heading over to Haystacks for tonight's wild camp, where hopefully we'll get some stunning views looking over Buttermere. It is one of the most beautiful places in the Lake District, in my opinion. I absolutely love Buttermere. It's definitely in my top 5, top 3 places in the lakes. I just love it. It's so picturesque, and also it was one of my mum's favorite places. So yeah, it just means a lot. So I'm really excited to head over there. So for the route over to Haystacks, it's about 3.5, 4k. As you can see, I've come up this miners track. I'm going to carry on along that track. You can go over to Fleetwith Pike, which is an excellent place to camp. However, I'm saving that summit for my final Wainwright, which I'm slowly but surely getting towards. We're just going to go in between and just head over to Haystacks. The sun is supposed to shine for the remainder of the day, and then we're going to get some rain in the night, and then tomorrow it should stop raining about 8 AM, and it's forecasted another glorious sunny day, so we can't complain. It's not forecasted loads of wind, so we're going to be all right on that front. Oh, I'm so gassed to be out. Last week we had 18 degrees and sunshine for 4 days straight in the lakes, and I worked every single day. So I was pretty gutted to have missed out on that weather. And I've just been in the Peak District for the weekend, cheering on my incredible girlfriend, Hev, who ran the Edale Skyline Fell Race, which is just insane, and she did really well. So we got back last night, and I had this date in the diary as a potential wild camp for the past few weeks. I'm struggling a little bit with some injuries at the moment, just some overuse, old injuries that I keep on neglecting and they keep coming back. And that's one of the main reasons why I did park at Honister Pass, because I would have parked down in the valley, down in Buttermere, and gone up the full ascent from there. But I'm trying to just limit the amount of ascending and descending I'm doing at the moment. What else doesn't help is I still can't find my water filter anywhere. So my bag weighs an absolute ton right now. I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and buy a new one, I think. But I've got 3 litres on my back currently, which really is not the one for when you're a little bit injured, but we're just gonna have to drink as much as we can tonight, so we've got a lighter pack tomorrow. So yeah, that's the rough plan. It's currently 2:30, so I've got loads of time. It's only really going to take about an hour, hour and a half maybe, to walk over there if I take it nice and slow. So we'll probably hold off pitching the tent for a little while when we get there. Probably make some tea early doors whilst it's still light. I'm so excited to show you Buttermere. If you've never seen the Buttermere views, you're in for an absolute treat. We've got the drone with us as well, so we'll get some nice aerial shots. Thanks for clicking on the video. Hope you're going to enjoy it, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. So we're just on the final approach to Haystacks, which is where we're going to be spending the night. Look at that for a view. So this is Buttermere right here, and then the next lake along in the distance is called Crummock Water. So we made it out of the slate mine and headed over that sort of short plateau area, and then we were greeted with this stunning view. Oh man, what an evening. That sort of golden hour time is just approaching as well. And we've just followed the sort of windy path that takes you over from Fleetwith to Haystacks. And the whole way we've just had stunning views. You could see all the way over to Great Gable before, not a cloud in sight. We're on 3.8k, so I've done a bit of zigzagging to check out the view and stuff. So I was pretty much bang on with the 3.5 to 4k distance from the car park, and I've just been loving every single step of this route. I had a really nice sit down when I first saw Buttermere, and it would have been an awesome place to pitch the tent. There was a perfect patch of grass, but I'd only been going for 2.5k or so, and I thought, oh, I can't stop here, and I know there's going to be some good spots up here, hopefully. Either way, we are in for a very good view tonight. So that behind me, that big lump, that's Fleetwith Pike. I'll give you a proper tour of the surrounding mountains when we're on the top of Haystacks. But that Wainwright right there, I'm hopefully going to be bagging that at some point this summer for my final Wainwright. I think I've got about 40 left to do, and I want to finish on Fleetwith with a wild camp, watching the sunset. Tonight would have been a perfect night, but I don't think I can bash out 40 Wainwrights in the next couple of hours, unfortunately. You can just see the slate mine now, way over in the distance. It's a really good place to park Honister Pass, to do a lot of the surrounding fells here. I'm thinking tomorrow morning we're going to head up to Brandreth, I think it's called, depending on the weather, and we'll show you the views from up there, because it is beautiful up there as well. We're on the last little climb up to Haystacks now. Right, so we have found our spot for the night. Quickly show it you. Bags, we're going to put the tent here, and that's the view we're going to have. Not too shabby. So my original plan was to pitch up by the little tarn up there, and there's two reasons why I'm not going to do that anymore. Number one, it is really windy up there, some really strong gusts. And you might be able to hear on the camera, it's catching the back end of it down here, but we've got a bit of shelter from this surrounding crag. And the second reason is someone else has just pitched their tent there, and you know, everyone comes up here for a little bit of solitude, and although there are a couple of other pitches in the vicinity of him, they're in visibility of each other, and you know, people come up here for a bit of solitude and a bit of peace and quiet, so I thought I'd wander over this way and found this really nice spot. We are going to lose the sunshine in this spot quite early, which is a shame, but we're going to have a really nice view. And once I've got the tent up, we can keep on popping over the crag to get some nice sunset views. Look at that for a view. Just insane. So you can just see Fleetwith Pike in front of us here. Way over in the distance, the next mountain along, that's Dale Head. Then you've got Hinscarth here, Robinson, and then way over in the distance you've got Grassmore, Eel Crag way in the distance. That was where me and Hev went when we did that snowy Coaldale horseshoe hike the other week, which was insane. Then beneath us here you've got Buttermere running all the way along down towards Crummock Water. That fell way in the distance over there, it's called Melbrake. And then you can just see the top here of High Crag. And the climb up to High Crag is one of the most disgusting climbs in the whole of the Lake District, and also one of the most horrible descents. It is like this, and there's a bit of a scree slope on the way down if you're running down it, and it is quite fun coming down it, but not so friendly on the old quads. So my rucksack is over there. We're just going to quickly venture over to the other side so I can show you the fells over there. It is going to get very windy once I poke my head over here, but the view is totally worth it. So unfortunately Great Gable is now covered in cloud, but Great Gable's there. That's Green Gable. And then tomorrow morning we're going to head up this fell here, which is called Brandreth, and then we're going to go over to Grey Knots. So they're two separate Wainwrights, those. So that's my plan for the morning. Let's have a little wander down here. Now this is the money shot view. Look at that. Woo! That's looking all the way down to Ennerdale Water. We're going to stick with our spot. I mean, look at that view that we're walking towards. We cannot complain with that. All pitched up. It's not a bad view. It is not a bad view at all. Look at that golden hour. Absolutely epic. I know I said I was going to put the drone up, however, two reasons again. I don't like flying the drone when it's around people, especially someone who's come up here to spend the night. He's come up here for some peace and quiet, and he doesn't want a big buzzing, hovering robot thing flying above him, I'm sure. And also, it's really windy, and there is a risk that it's going to get sent for 6 down into that valley, so we're not going to put the drone up. However, we don't really need to, because look at that. Oh man, absolutely epic. So I put the tent up a little bit earlier than I thought I would, but I don't think anyone's going to be coming up here this time, and I'm actually quite a bit out of the way down here. So I think we're going to have a little bit of a play around on these rocks, because it's really fun for doing some little scrambling bits. And I'm just going to sit over there for a bit as well and check out the view, watch the sunset, because although this is a stunning spot, the sun is going to set just over this little craggy bit here. I'm going to have a little wander around for about half an hour, and then once the sun's disappeared, we'll get some tea on, because I am so hungry and I'm so excited to try tonight's meals, because I'm trying a brand new one and it's pretty fancy. So I'm really excited, and I've only had breakfast today, so I am so hungry. It was a little bit of a pain putting the tent up in the wind. I'm sure some of you were thinking, what is he doing, when I did the time lapse, because it's only the second time I've put up the Terra Nova Pioneer Compact 2, and yeah, I'm still getting used to it. Now I've got it up, it's so solid, even in the wind. It's sold as a 3, almost 4 season tent, so I think we're going to be good tonight. Really impressed with that tent since I've got it. Only the second time I've used it, but I'm still really impressed with it. But anyway, I'm gonna have a little bit of a wander. I'll film some little shots for you and some views. We'll come back to the tent and we'll get some scran on. So I'm just boiling up my water now for my tea. Started cooking a lot later than I planned. It's nearly 7 o'clock now. We've still got lights, which is crazy. We just had an epic sunset. Unfortunately, there is a lot of cloud heading over towards the national park, and that's probably the 3 to 4 hours of rain that were forecasted in the early hours of the morning. Boiling my water up now, and then let me go get the food. Got a couple of nice ones tonight. So I brought 2 different ones with me today. I was only gonna have one, but whew, I am so hungry. We're gonna have 2. So I've treated myself to some of the Summit to Eat ones, which I really like. So we've got macaroni cheese, which is a bit of a staple for Summit to Eat. It's really good. I've had it for quite a few times, and it's pretty mega. As far as like dehydrated meals go, it is really good. And salmon and broccoli pasta. Oh, now that is a bit of me. So I'm hoping it's going to be good, because I've been really excited for all day. Just go a little bit higher up here. Oh, look at that sky now. Not too bad. I've camped up in this area of the lakes twice now. Both times have been unbelievable. I just love this place. There's something so special about it. I mean, look at the view down there. Even though it's going dark now, it's still beautiful. So I think we're gonna have both of them, because starving Marvin. If you've never had these, remember there's always a little oxygen absorber thing in there, so remember to take that out. All right, so we've got these 2 on the boil, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, don't do what I did last year, where I filled these bags up and they have like a seal on them, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to put it in my pocket whilst I walked back to my tent, because I thought it's fully sealed and it acts like a hot water bottle. Got to my tent, looked down at my jacket, and the whole thing was covered in veggie stew or whatever. It had burst open and I hadn't even realised. I was like, oh, this is really nice and warm, this is great. Looked down at my jacket and it is soaking wet. Oh man, that was so bad, that was awful. My tent stank of veggie stew the whole night, my jacket stank. And I actually think, yeah, it's this coat under here. It's been through a lot, this Patagonia jacket. So for the past hour and a half, I just ran around the crag like a crazy child. I did get a little bit of a time lapse on this camera as well. I basically set up 2 cameras, and whilst they were doing a time lapse, I did a bit of scrambling practice because it's really craggy around here, which is something to bear in mind if you do come up here. Quite a few little scrambly sections, especially. The way I came up from Honister is not too bad. There's still a couple of hands-on bits, but not many. But if you're going to continue on the ridge line, so heading in that direction, you have to drop down into a little valley between here and High Crag, and it is quite scrambly and quite hands-on getting down. So it's just something to bear in mind if you are planning on coming up here. If you're thinking of coming up here and you're not too keen on scrambling, it is quite technical. I spent about an hour just kind of scrambling on the rocks and doing a bit of practicing some scrambling techniques and stuff, because hopefully there's a few things in the pipeline at the moment, some trips abroad maybe, where it's going to be a bit more technical and some more serious mountains, but nothing too set in stone at the moment. So it's been a really good evening, and there's no perfect way than to make your tea with that view. Oh, I feel so lucky to be here right now. So whilst they're soaking up, we'll have one final little wander up here and see if we can get the last of those colours. Oh, look at that. Some really nice colours there. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm gonna go get my food because it's probably nearly ready, and I'm probably going to end today's filming right here and catch up with you in the morning now, because there's not really going to be too much more to say. I'm going to scran my food with the last of this view. I'm sure I'll catch up with you when I'm brewing up for a nice coffee in the morning. Good morning. So as expected, when I woke up this morning, it was completely clagged out and it was drizzling quite a lot as well. So I've got up a little bit later than I usually would, because I usually like to get up super early and leave wherever I'm camping early as well, because I think that's the right thing to do when you're wild camping. However, I'm tucked away quite nicely down there. So my plan is to leave the tent up for a little bit longer just to let it dry out. So yeah, I stayed in the tent for like an extra hour until about 7:30, and then I looked out the door again and it's cleared up and we've got a really nice view now. There's still some clag rolling in and out. You can see it behind me there. Great Gable isn't visible this morning. However, I can see all the way over to the coast from here, and I can see some dappled sunshine spots over on the sea and over on the hills in the distance. So I'm hoping in about half an hour, 45 minutes, it'll start to brighten up a little bit. But I'm definitely going to stick with the plan of going up to the 2 Wainwrights up here, which will make it probably about another 4 to 5k-ish back down to the car. And hopefully by the time we get up there, it will have really nicely cleared up, because you get some really nice views looking over towards Great Gable and over towards the sort of central fells from there. I didn't sleep incredibly well. I slept better than the previous wild camp I did up in the Langdales. It's just taken me a long time to switch off, and the wind did really pick up in the night, and it did also rain, so it was quite noisy. But I probably switched off about, it must have been about 1:30, 2. That's the last time I remember looking at my watch, and then I woke up probably every couple of hours after then. I brewed up and made a really strong coffee, and yeah, just opened up my tent door and looked at that view for about 20 minutes and just enjoyed it. Oh man, I so wish I could do another day out hiking in another camp. There's nothing worse than having to pack up and head home. So I'm going to enjoy this view for the next half hour or so and let my tent get some breeze on it and dry out a bit. I'm going to have a little wander over to the actual summit of Haystacks and have a look, see if we've got any sort of a view down towards Ennerdale Water, because it's really nice view down there. All packed up, and as always we're leaving no trace apart from the little dry patch where my tent was. As I said earlier, we are now going to head over to Brandreth and Grey Knots, which are two Wainwrights I've already bagged, but I fancy doing a bit of a different route back to the car, so, and it'd be nice for you guys to see the views. Also, I can see the blue skies approaching us, so I'm hoping in the next half hour, 45 minutes, it'll properly clear up and we'll get some sunshine, because it is still very claggy over towards Great Gable and the Western Fells over there. So yeah, hopefully that wind pushes the cloud off, and by the time we get up to there, which is currently covered in clag, that's Brandreth, that's where we're going first. Hopefully by the time we get up there, it'll be nice and clear, fingers crossed. So I just managed to get the drone up because the other fella camping up there, he left, so I thought, oh, perfect opportunity to get the drone up, and there's no one up here yet. It's still a little bit too early. Hopefully got some nice shots for you all. So that is the second Wainwright I've camped on this year. I do love the idea of camping on all of them in the coming years. Maybe a little side quest that we can start this year. It's going to take a long time because there's 214 Wainwrights, if you're not already aware, so that's a lot of nights spent on top of hills and mountains. Someone has done it before, so we'll just have to see. I'm going to try do different summits in the coming months. I'm not going to camp on ones I've already done on unless I'm going out with friends or with Hev. Really happy with that camp last night. I always worry a little bit about finding a good place to pitch, because some parts of the lakes, like round here, it's very craggy. It could be hard to find somewhere, but we got a really good spot last night. I'm going to put the camera away now and I'll show you the views all the way up to Brandreth, over to Grey Knots. Probably have a bit of a catch up with you on the summit up there if we get any views, and I'll point out some of the surrounding hills and mountains. You can see we're heading, currently Brandreth is properly in the cloud and Great Gable and Green Gable are just here. So they're covered in clag at the moment, so we'll just have to see. If it's really claggy up there, I'll catch up with you back at the car. So we're just approaching the summit of Buttermere, and it's still a bit clagged out ahead of us, but you start to get now this incredible view that I was talking about earlier. So you can see Haystacks where we camped last night, and then you can just see Crummock Water, and Buttermere is just behind this lump here. And you can see all the way over into the other valley, the Ennerdale Valley, so that's Ennerdale Water there. You've got Pillar here. That's a Wainwright that I've not done yet, and that's on my hit list. It's just quite hard to actually get to. And then you've got High Style here, still covered in the clag, as is Grassmore and Eel Crag over there. Such a nice view from here. I have very fond memories of this place from when I did the Lake District Traverse. I sat down on one of these rocks, and I'd just come all the way down from Ennerdale Water, and I headed up to Red Pike, camped on Red Pike, and then came over High Style, over to Haystacks, and I came up here, and my next night was down in Borrowdale, and I was pretty tired. So I had a swim in one of the little waterfall plunge pools down there, sat on one of these rocks after, and it was a glorious sunny day. And yeah, oh, good times. With the longer daylight hours approaching, there's definitely going to be some multi-day hikes being planned, because I haven't really done many since then, which is a real shame, to be honest. So I'm definitely going to sit down with a map very soon and plot out some multi-dayers. That part of the Western Fells there, I haven't really done any of it, so I think it'll be a drive over to Wasdale job and a few nights spent on the hills around there. There's also a couple of youth hostels in this valley here, because this is also the coast to coast route. So a lot of people stay down in, I think there's Ennerdale Youth Hostel, and there's another one, I've forgotten what it's called now, I think it's Black something, I can't remember, but it's essentially a bothy. It's in the middle of nowhere. I think you can only really hike to it. I think it's actually really expensive to stay out there when I looked, but it's supposed to be a really cool youth hostel. I just absolutely love that part of the lakes there. When I came through Ennerdale, I don't know what it is, but you just feel like you're a little bit more out in the wilderness, and that's why I really want to explore Pillar and all the Wainwrights over there, because that time I came through the Ennerdale Valley, oh, it was just heaven. I felt like you were really in the wilderness. I remember I had a swim in a river, which was just amazing, and then jumped out the river, and then about 50 meters around the corner saw some red squirrels, which are pretty rare to see really, and I barely saw a soul all day, and it was the middle of summer. And my original plan was to camp down in Ennerdale, down in the valley. I had about an hour until sunset, and I looked up at Red Pike and I was like, I've got to go up there. And that was one of the best wild camps I've ever had on top of Red Pike. The sunset was incredible. Had my tea looking over Crummock and Buttermere. Real special night on the fells. If you want to watch that video, it is on my channel. It'll be coming up to nearly 2 years ago now, so whoa, time flies. Haystacks is just so brilliantly positioned. You can see it now. Up there you have such a good viewpoint down the two valleys. It really is an awesome Wainwright. And I might be wrong here, so correct me if I am wrong, but I believe that was one of Wainwright's favourites. I will have to check on that. If I've left that in the video, then I was right, but you can see why. Stunning place. We're about to hit the top of Bramreth. I know there's a little blind summit here because I remember it last time I came up here. Once we're up there, you're quite centrally sat really in the national park and you get a really good view. I highly recommend coming here if you haven't already. And what's really nice about Honister Pass is it makes it a little bit more accessible. So if you did want to just experience this view without doing too much elevation and too much mileage, you could park at Honister and just go up the miners track up to Fleetwith. And then boom, you've got one of the best views in the Lake District. Lots of nice, easier walks and fells to do around here. But like I did say last night, the more you sort of venture out towards like Haystacks and Great Gable as well, it starts to get pretty technical. So just something to bear in mind. Final push to the summit now. You can see it just behind me. There's a group of people over there. So we're at the summit of Bramreth. Can't see a flying sausage that way, but right there is Green Gable, Great Gable. You can actually just about make out Piker Stickle in the gap over there, so the Langdales and Bowfells over there as well. And in front of us here, you've probably got Glaramara and the Wainwrights around there. And all the way in the distance, you can actually see the Eastern Fells today. So Helvellyn, Dollywagon, Fairfields over there as well. And then beneath us here is Borrowdale and Seathwaite. Oh, it's quite a dramatic little shot there with the clouds. Moving quite fast over Green Gable. So much to do around here. Borrowdale Youth Hostel is one of our absolute favourites. A really, really good base to get out into the fells and do some really big days out. And you can get to Scarfell Pack from it as well. Up the corridor route, which is always a good fun one to do. Oh, look at that. Great Gable's just come into view. If you were to ask me what my favourite Wainwright would be, it's Great Gable. I love it. The views from up there, I think, are some of the best in the lakes. You're just 360 degrees of awesome views. We'll put the camera down and we'll do the final kilometre or so. It's over to Great Knotts and down to the car park. So we're on the last couple hundred metres now of the route. One final drop. It's absolutely brutal coming off Grey Knotts. It's very technical and it's very steep. It's not nice on the knees, especially when you've got a big heavy pack on your back. You do need to descend with caution down here. It's not very fun. It's like this the whole way down, which isn't fun at all. I probably could have drifted off to the left a bit more and just come down the nice sort of gentle footpath there that most people are doing, but no. I had to come this way. I can see my car still down there, which is always great news. It's always a worry when you're doing a wild camp and you've driven to a lay-by or a car park. Oh, my bum's wet, my bum's wet, my bum's wet. Oh, that's part of the reason why I decided to pay to park at Honister yesterday, just because I don't know, I don't want to be worrying about my car the whole time I'm out. I think I'm going to end the video here because, well, you can see what's left. Nice view to finish with though. Honister Pass is really nice, and a plane, it wasn't a jet but it was still a very small plane, just bombed it through here, which was pretty awesome. I didn't manage to get the camera out in time to film it. I'm sure the jets will probably be out later on because it's a great day for them to practice. But anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, there's going to be plenty more wild camps coming to the channel in the coming months. And once I've sort of fully recovered from these injuries, we'll definitely get out on some multi-dayers and we'll do some big hikes as well. So there's going to be loads of content coming to the channel, hopefully. Highly recommend visiting this area, it's awesome. There's loads of different routes. If you just want to do a really flat walk, get yourselves down to Buttermere and you can do a nice circular walk around the lake, or you can just go out to the lake and back. loads of options, there's a route for everyone. And there's also an awesome cafe. I'm all about my cafes in Buttermere, and they do incredible pies. Oh my, they are some of the best pies in the lakes, if I'm totally honest with you. I'm gonna put the camera down. Stay safe out in the hills and mountains if you're heading out soon. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all the love on the videos. Does mean the world. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.